Good morning and good evening. Welcome to the study circle, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother Study Circle, where we are going through the compilation Looking from Within by Dr. A.S. Dalal, based on the words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So currently we are on chapter 2, section 3. The title is Defects of Others. And we have to do this one, not to judge anyone but oneself until one can see things, by Sri Aurobindo. So if anybody has the capacity, they can read it, then we'll reflect on it if needed.
Not to judge.
Yes.
I'll read. Not to judge anyone but oneself until one can see things from a calm mind, and a calm vital is an excellent rule. I'll read one more time. Not to judge anyone but oneself until one can see things from a calm mind and calm vital is an excellent rule. Also, do not allow your mind to form hasty impressions on the strength of some outward appearance, nor your vital to act upon them. There is a place in the inner being where one can always remain calm, and from there look with poise and judgment on the perturbations on the surface consciousness and act upon it to change it. If you can learn to live in that calm of the inner being, you will have found your stable basis. Looks a bit difficult, Taru, to understand.
Yeah, easy to understand but difficult
to follow.
Yeah.
So this also, do not allow your mind to form hasty impressions on the strength of someone, some outward appearance of others is mentioning.
I think any outward appearance, right? How fast we are, right? Something happens, we have an opinion. Something happens, we have a judgment. Something happens, we see somebody getting down from, say, a really good car, right? We'll be like, oh my God, they're so rich, he must be so happy. We see this, you know, how it's like tuck, 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 tuck. And none of it is true, right? None of it is true. So, yeah. So not to judge oneself, not to judge anyone but oneself until one can see things from a calm mind and a calm vital is an excellent rule.
Beautiful. But we always jump.
Actually, if we have a calm mind and a calm vital, we won't even have to judge, right? We won't judge. I think that's the catch.
Yeah, very true.
But I think as a rule, if one wants to follow it, right, it's a good rule that if something is coming to me, if I just look within and see, am I calm? And I mostly am not, right? Vitally, mind, especially when one is judging, there's some movement. So that's an excellent rule, says Sri Aurobindo. Also, do not allow your mind. Yeah, Radha, you can say what you were saying.
Taru, I wanted to share something which happened yesterday. See, I met a person. I saw a person I didn't meet, but you know, she's a good speaker in Tamil. So she delivers a lot of good speeches about Mahabharata, Ramayana. You know, she's a general speaker. She was sitting behind us in the airport yesterday. So as soon as I saw, I wanted to go and talk to her. Then immediately I stepped back. Then what am I going to tell her? So, you know, the same incident happened, you know, not this person, the other person I met in Pondicherry near the ashram. So I didn't even, you know, took a step back. I just went and, oh, doctor, you are like this. You are doing. She's doing some, consulting, counseling, and all. So I saw her in the YouTube. So I used to follow her. So I went and spoke to her. She just, gave me a look like this. Who are you like that? Then within 2 seconds, my mind just, maybe my ego got hurt. I just went back. That was mother's birthday. Then when I entered the mother's room, I thought, see, for whom you have come here? Other than mother and Sri Aurobindo, nobody is VIP in this world. You don't need to go and talk to them. You can see them, just leave like that and you can come. Everyone are same here except mother and Sri Aurobindo. So I just came back and, yesterday I remembered that. I don't know whether this lady will, react that way or not, but my mind was saying it's okay. You are going back from Pondicherry. You don't need to go and speak to her. It's okay. If she does a good job, let her do. Be blessed by the divine. I just took a step back and I was just calm. So this judgment, so you don't need to judge whether this lady will speak or not speak. That is not my problem. I don't need to judge her. I don't need to think about her. So it gave me a lot of, even my husband was asking, you want to go and speak to her? I said, no, I don't want to go and speak to her. I follow her. It's okay. I feel good. It's okay. That is enough for me. So I don't know whether this has any connection with this, but I thought of, sharing. Thank you.
It's very strange and not really, but today morning only, I was listening to a talk by Aurobindo on purification. And he said exactly what you said, Sardaji, that, he says that when people, it's like, okay, Aurobindo is there, people would introduce him that he's so and stuff. And he said that's so unnecessary, right? Like it's just so, even though he said that I would try to receive things modestly, and yet there is some ego in it, right? Even if I deny it or I'll say, no, I'm nobody. So it's very, and he said exactly this, that, we talk about senior sadhak, junior sadhak, this, that, and he said the only only people who matter are mother and Sri Aurobindo. We are all the same, rest of us, right? So he was also saying that these things are so unnecessary and not needed, and how they don't do anybody any good, except obviously our egos. So you said exactly the same thing, that what good will come out of it. And yet sometimes we do see, we want to appreciate, but that's a different thing. And yet he too was saying that there is no need. Yeah. So just rereading it, that not to judge anyone but oneself, unless one can see things from a calm mind and a calm vital, is an excellent rule. Also, do not allow your mind to form hasty impressions on the strength of some outward appearance, nor your vital to act upon them. So do not allow. So your mind will want to form, but according to Sri Aurobindo, one should not allow. There is a place in the inner being where one can always remain calm, and from there look with poise and judgment on the perturbations of the surface consciousness, that one can see, oh, like you were sharing, right? You wanted to go, you saw that earth, then you said there's no need. So from that place of calmness, when one is connected within, one can look and see that, oh, this movement is coming, that thought is coming, that thing is there, and act upon it to change it. If you can learn to live in that calm of the inner being, you will have found your stable basis. Now, we all are looking for stability. We all are looking for, equanimous, that stable center in us. So he's saying if we do not allow our mind to form hasty impressions depending on outward appearances, there is a place in the inner being where one is always calm and from where one is able to look at what is happening. So if I keep indulging in the outward things, I won't be able to touch that space of the inner being. But if I am, calm and I don't indulge in the outward too much, then I will touch that space, be in that space, and I will be able to operate from a stable basis. Even if we haven't touched the space, or maybe if we just have touched it a few times and it keeps escaping us, to know this and to get motivated to calm ourselves more and more, both in mind and vital, I think would be an excellent practice, an excellent goal. Yeah, welcoming reflections or questions before we move ahead, if any. Okay, if there's nothing, we'll take this next small passage from Sri Aurobindo on equality and goodwill. It's very small, I can read it. It says, there are two attitudes that a sadhak can have, either a quiet equality to all regardless of their friendliness or hostility or a general goodwill. The two attitudes, quiet equality to all. If somebody is friendly to me or somebody is hostile to me, my attitude is of a quiet equality. I don't have to say, oh, see, I hold both of you at the same regard. So there's a quiet equality, and the second one is a general goodwill. So these are the two attitudes that a sadhak can have. So if I am aspiring to be on the path of sadhana, it's good for me to know to at least aspire for an equality and a general goodwill. So I'm just moving ahead. If there's anything I know, we'll unmute and share. So we can take up the next passage in case anybody has the capacity. They can please read it. This one again is from Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah, I'll start. What you should do is to keep your right attitude towards the others and not allow yourself to be upset, irritated, or displeased by anything they may say or do. In other words, keep the samta and universal goodwill proper to a sadhak of yoga. If you do that and still others get upset or displeased, you must not mind, as you will not be responsible for their wrong reaction.
Again, I think here it says the onus is on me, right? So what you should do is to keep your right attitude towards the others and not allow yourself to be upset, irritated, or displeased by anything they may say or do. In other words, keep the samta and universal goodwill proper to a sadhak of yoga. So in almost continuation to the above line where he speaks about that equality, samta, universal goodwill, that if you are a sadhak of yoga, he's talking about his yoga, then that is the right attitude. For me not to get upset, irritated, or displeased by anything others may say or do. If you do that and still others get upset or displeased, you must not mind, as you will not be responsible for their wrong reaction, sorry. Again, very difficult to do because our being is so dependent on the other's actions, reactions, words, state of mind, that one gets swayed very easily. But here he is very clearly saying that if you hold your ground in samta and goodwill, if the other is not okay with that, you will not be held responsible for their wrong reaction. Yeah, anything on this?
Yes, and here let's say others can be somebody who's a little distant, like Sharda ji mentioned that she saw somebody at the airport. So that's like somebody you don't know. But if the other is somebody who's like a family member or a very close friend, and then if you start thinking or feeling that that they are not enjoying your company or liking what you are saying, or maybe you start feeling that, or they start feeling that they are better sadhaks, and then what you are talking is very elementary. So then one should contain oneself now, because let's say if somebody plays very good tennis and the other person is a novice, so he goes and plays with somebody who's playing very good tennis, and the person who's playing very good tennis will not like it. He would like the company of people who are at that level.
I'm not sure I understand what I know what you're saying, but your question is that one should then not indulge with the other person who
Like
thinks.
what Dadaji said, that the topmost is Sri Aurobindo and the mother only. So rest everybody we are the same. But sometimes what I'm saying is that if they if what if you're interacting with somebody who's not very close to you or distant, or somebody who you don't know, then it's okay to have that attitude that okay, somebody is like the reaction of the person whom she had met in Pondicherry. So, but if somebody is close to you, like your good friend or your family member, and then they have that attitude towards you, then one needs to, I think, step back, thinking that, okay, I think let it be. I'm not able to explain it well.
Yeah, because what the passage is saying here, that is something, I mean, we can do it, we cannot do it, that's a different thing. But he's talking about the right attitude, right? That's kind of the main rest, the main thing, the main focus of this looking from within compilation, the right attitude. So he's just talking about the right attitude towards the others is not allow yourself to be upset, irritated, or displeased by anything they may say or do. So if you are doing something and if somebody else is getting upset, like you're saying, they will get upset. But if you have your own thing that, okay, you are maintaining that universal goodwill or equality, He's saying even if the other, like if the other is not responding right, like you're saying they have this attitude that I am better off, then that's on them. So if you do that and still others get upset or displeased, you must not mind, as you will not be responsible for their wrong reaction. So if the other is feeling that, oh, I'm better, that's on them, that's not on you. I don't know if that answers. That's their weakness, that's their inability to maintain that equality or the universal goodwill.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, if that other, like
Hmm.
here, the other is somebody who's you don't know well or who's
No,
distant,
it
then
doesn't say anything, na? Other, anybody other, right? Like your,
there is somebody in the family
yeah.
who that is also other. I mean,
Absolutely. Other is anybody other than you, right? Here we are talking about relationships and what was the title of the chapter, right? It was also about looking at oneself and others, है ना? So other is anybody other than me for this context. So that can be person close to me, not close to me, because that's where we need help, right? Mostly other people who we don't even know well. It's very easy for us to step back or not mind. But where do we get challenged is when we are close with people and they react, they respond, they behave in a way we don't like. Then there lies the challenge, na? So this
but,
definition, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
but in this case, if there's somebody in my family, let's
Mm.
say my husband or somebody, my sister or my mother. So if
Mm.
they are displeased with me, even I would feel upset. How can I just tell myself, okay, I have my center, let that other person be displeased. I should not be bothered. So we do get affected when it's somebody who's in the close family circle.
So that's why he's saying, see, one thing is that's how we usually do things, right? That we do get affected. But what is he saying? Like, first of all, see, here he was saying, first we're talking about sadhak, right? What is the definition of a sadhak? What do you understand by sadhak?
No, you tell me. I my understanding might not be correct.
नहीं, अब जैसे ये हिंदी वर्ड है ना, साधक, सिंपली क्या कौन होगा साधक? आई थिंक द वर्ड कम्स फ्रॉम साधना, जो अपने आप को साध रहा है. द वन हु वांट्स to work on himself, the one who is on the journey towards self progress, improvement, है ना? So he's talking about that person who's working on himself. So in with that thing in mind, if you are working on yourself, if you're wanting to, take the better path, the highest path possible to you, then he's saying that if you are doing things with an equality, equanimity, and if you truly do have that universal goodwill, in case somebody feels that you're not doing things right, in case they feel "Arey, you're just being too pretentious or something," but if you believe yourself to be there with equality and goodwill, what others think, you would not be responsible for their wrong. Sometimes we feel, okay, what does that mean to me if others are displeased karmically, or if I'm hurting others, if I'm making them angry. So from, I think, that point of view, he's saying that you will not be responsible for their wrong reaction if you are operating from the right center. So it's difficult, but if I'm looking for ways in which, I don't know, to take things, to see things for what they are, he's saying that you should know that you will not be held responsible for their wrong reactions if you are operating from the right center.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because this line, if you do that and still others get upset or displeased, you must not mind.
See, but I will always tell myself that I am operating from the right center. But sometimes it might happen that maybe the others, what they're telling me about me is probably there is some truth in that. But if I keep thinking that I'm right, I'm operating from the right center, then sometimes I might be right, but then there are cases where they are also right.
And we did cover the last part was the first thing he spoke about was criticism, right? How to accept blame, how to accept criticism, how to take it in your stride, improve, है ना? So first we covered that, and now he is covering, now the passage is on defects of others. पहले उन्होंने सबसे पहले अपने डिफेक्ट के बारे में बताया, है ना? तो उसमें that all was covered. How when somebody is pointing to a mistake, how to take it, how to progress with it, how to accept it under discovering a hidden treasure. उसको cover करने के बाद में now we are taking this passage of defects of others. Because a lot of times we don't do the right thing because we feel the others would mind, or that's not expected of me, or that would, kind of disturb the harmony, don't rock the boat. तो अगर उसी पे रहना है तो obviously that thing would be there, but if one wants to, if one is not there anymore and they just that, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, where are we? Here. So yeah, that's how it is. So the whole progression, the first thing was how to accept, progress, evolve, and now it's about the others.
Okay.
Yeah. We still have time. Maybe we can take up this last passage today. If anybody has the capacity, they can read. Otherwise, I'll read.
Yeah, Taru, I'll go.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. This misunderstanding between two minds can only be cured by a change of consciousness, for which one goes into a deeper consciousness. First, one sees the cause of these things and is not troubled. One acquires an understanding, patience, and tolerance that makes one free from vexation and other reactions. Taru, if you don't mind, can you just go back? I want to read one more time. Yeah. This misunderstanding between two minds can only be cured by a change of consciousness. For when one goes into a deeper consciousness, first one sees the cause of these things is not troubled. One acquires an understanding, patience, and tolerance that makes one free from vexation and other reactions. If both or all grow in consciousness, Taru, sorry, can you please make the font a little bigger? Yeah, this is enough. Yeah. If both or all grow in consciousness, then there arises a mental understanding of each other's viewpoints, which makes it easier to bring in harmony and smooth working. It is this that should be sought by the change within. To create the same harmony from outside by exterior means is not so easy, as the human mind is stiff in its perceptions and the human vital insistent on its own way of action. Let this be your main will. Yeah, your main will to grow yourself within and let the clearer and deeper consciousness come and have a goodwill for the same change to come in others, so that charity and harmony may come in the place of friction and misunderstanding.
Thank you,
Taru, I
Sarvadi.
want to read this this one more time.
Yeah,
So,
please.
yeah. If both or all grow in consciousness, then there arises a mental understanding of each other's viewpoints, which makes it easier to bring in harmony and smooth working. It is this that should be sought by the change within. To create the same harmony from outside by exterior means is not so easy, as the human mind is stiff in its perceptions and the human vital insistent on its way of action. Let this be your main will to grow yourself within, and let the clearer and deeper consciousness come and have a goodwill for the same change to come in others, so that charity and harmony may come in the place of friction and misunderstanding. So beautiful, but as you said, it's very difficult to follow.
Yeah.
First of all, we should reach that state. Beautiful, yeah.
So this can only be cured by a change of consciousness. So whenever there's misunderstanding, can only be cured by a change of consciousness. So when one goes into a deeper consciousness, first one sees the cause of these things and is not troubled. Like initially when there is misunderstanding, we get troubled, right? We feel, why is there misunderstanding? Why is there friction? Why can't the other person understand? So when one connects within, goes deeper, one sees the cause of these things and is not troubled. One acquires an understanding, patience, and tolerance that makes one free from vexation like irritation, frustration, and other reactions. So when I'm taking things on me that I cannot understand or the person cannot understand, why is there this misunderstanding? That troubles me. But when I'm able to actually see and connect and see what is the cause, then the first thing that happens is that I'm free from these reactions. Usually I'm blaming myself or the other. And then when we realize that, oh, it's the nature of the things or what is the root of the thing, then one doesn't feel that troubled. And here he goes further, that if both or all grow in consciousness, then there arises a mental understanding of each other's viewpoint, which makes it easier to bring in harmony and smooth working. So there is a conflict. If they are able to connect within, if they are able to expand and see each other's point of view, then they both can grow in consciousness and there arises a mental understanding of each other's viewpoint, which makes it easier to bring in harmony and smooth working. It is this that should be sought by the change within. To create the same harmony from outside by exterior mean is not so easy. If I'm just trying to convince the person from outside, superficially, just using words and logic, there he says it's very difficult to reach that harmony. But if there's a growth from within, then suddenly we understand, oh, that's why the person is doing it. Oh, that's all right. I was there too. And that's how it is. I was wrong here. They were wrong there. Then that naturally happens. As the human mind is stiff in its perception and the human vital insistent on its own way of action. So because the human mind is stiff in its perception, the mind doesn't want to change. There's no suppleness and flexibility usually. So that is why it's tough for me to understand just by exterior justifications what's right, what's wrong, and the human vital insistent on its own way of action. So my mind says, no, this is what I think, this is the truth. My vital says, this is how I feel, and I am right. And if the other is trying to justify it logically from outside, it's tough for me to understand unless there is a growth in consciousness, then that dawning just happens. So let this be your main will, to grow yourself within and let the clearer and deeper consciousness come and have a goodwill for the same change to come in others. So if I'm not liking something in somebody, or if I'm believing they're doing wrong or there's disagreement, so my main aim I should aspire is for growth within, so that I can see where the other is coming from, I can understand, and I can pray for that clarity. I can have that goodwill for the same change, for the same growth to come in the other, so that my approach is that of compassion, of harmony, in place of friction and misunderstanding. Because usually when there is misunderstanding or when there is disagreement, there is misunderstanding and friction, we operate from that angle कि वो समझ क्यों नहीं रहा. But if I'm aspiring for that growth within, and if I get it, if I'm able to see, and I can aspire for the same for the other, and then naturally for both, there's harmony and in place of friction and misunderstanding. So again, this is from Sri Aurobindo, talking about misunderstanding between two minds. So I think this also kind of answers what, at least according to me, what Ritu you were asking, that what does one do? Yeah, I think I would like to stop here now, although we haven't finished an hour, but this feels enough. So we finished number 3, defects of others, and we had started number 4, equality and goodwill. So this section will be on equality and goodwill. And tomorrow we'll start with always be kind, and you will be free from suffering. So if there are any questions, any reflections on the last passage or anything we have done today, we can take it up. Otherwise, we'll end here. Yeah, so we'll end the session here, and thank you for joining in, and we'll be meeting tomorrow at the same time if all goes well. And yeah, I mean, things might look like, they are much higher than us. And yet, if we see this is the way, sometimes things just happen too fast and we are able to do it. And we're aspiring for higher, praying for higher, for us to have practical experiences of these words, these forces in action. Again, for more harmony and less friction in our lives. So thank you for joining me. Yeah, thank you.
So much.